Okay, the first time I realized I was queer was, Jade, finish the statement.
So the first time I realized it was, there was this girl named Kendra, and she was down.
Shout out to Kendra.
Shout out to
She was
Kendra.
down.
She was down. We would go into the bathroom at school, like on breaks and stuff, and like just fool around.
Oh.
And like kissing, but we didn't know how or like the way to do it, so we would just put our mouths on each other.
Believe it or not, I told you the story. I think I told you the story. And I told my mom, I was like, oh, I might like girls. And she was like, oh, are you a carpet muncher? And then I was like, they do that? So then I had a period of time when I was like super homophobic. Like I did not, like
That's
I was
real.
afraid. I like genuinely afraid of queer people until like I ate pussy for the first time. And that was when, can I say that? Okay, y'all are great.
The first time that you came out.
I came out to my mom in the car, and she pulled up that D'Angelo music video where he was butt naked. And she was just like, when I look at that, I am not confused. And I was like, okay, Mom, good for you. When did you come out?
I think the first time I came out, it wasn't to my parents, it's to my friends. And I was so like chill about it.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, just letting y'all know, I'm gay out here. Pass me them tater tots. Like it was very much like.
You know I'm gonna ask what happened when you told your parents though, right?
First of all, I have to say this.
What?
When I was younger, maybe like nine-ish, 10 maybe, I was like talking to my dad, I was like, I feel like I wanna be a boy. I was like, yeah, I think I wanna be a boy. He's like, no, pretty sure you're just gay, girl.
Wow.
So when I finally came out to them, I was like 20, I think.
Oh shit.
And I came out to them because I was annoyed about having to lie about where I was going. That was the motivation behind me coming out.
Right.
My motivation behind both coming outs was like,
This is it.
yeah, like I'm just, yeah, this is inconvenient for me for you to not know.
Yeah.
So let's streamline the process and just like get you guys involved. I should have made like a spreadsheet. I probably did make a spreadsheet for it or something like that.
Like a Google Doc.
Like a Google Hangout.
Yes. Oh,
Thank you guys.
if you know Jade, you know how accurate that is. You get invited to a Google Doc with like big caps, like, oh, I'm gay.
So I told them when I was like 20, my mom was in the kitchen, my dad was in the living room, and you know, the rooms are right next to each other. And so I'm like in the middle of both of them. And I'm like, all right. This one wasn't so chill. But I was like, all right, just letting y'all know that I'm gay. All right, go in my room. And I was like, I gotta go. And my mom immediately, for some reason, she decided to have like the STI talk with me. And then my dad was just like, I knew all along. And that was it. Which is a really shitty thing to say, I think. Like, oh, well, I knew all along. Okay, well, don't fucking ruin my moment. Like,
Yeah, like, it's
just
like
let me have this. Like, hello.
Ooh, okay. Your very first time when you kissed a girl.
Whoa, I already told you about Kendra.
Oh.
The first time I kissed a girl was like elementary school, and it was Kendra.
For recess part 2.
For recess part 2.
I don't remember. Is that bad?
No.
I don't.
Finish that sentence. Finish the sentence.
No. I went through guys, and then I was just like, nah. And then I was just like, girls, and I was like, oh yeah. And then from there, it just went crazy. I started kissing girls probably like middle of college, and then I just never stopped.
First time you went on a date with a woman.
You know I love dates.
You love
I love dates. So the first date I went on with a woman was actually a double date because I was so nervous.
Aw.
I was so scared because I had been on dates with guys or whatever, and it was just like you don't really do much. You like literally the less you say, the more they like you. It's really fucking weird. It was the first girl I'd ever liked in my life, and up until that point I had been like super homophobic, so it was just like such a switch, and I was like, okay, there's a date set, we know what we're gonna do. And then I showed up to my friend's house and I was like I brought a whole bunch of different outfits. I was like, is this one okay? Like, is this masculine enough? Should I be like feminine or whatever? And they're like, girl, you're freaking the fuck out. Just get in the car, we're all gonna go. And I was like, is it okay for it to be a double date on our first date? And she's like, if you go like this, you're not gonna get a second date. Like, you need a buffer. And so,
that's very true.
Good friends. And so we piled into the car, she sat in the back seat with me, and I like didn't know how to like look at her, so I looked everywhere. anywhere except her. Like I was looking out the window, I was looking like above her, I was like looking at her legs, but then I was like, stop looking at her body. And she just like kissed me.
What?
Yeah, she just kissed me. Like she just made out with me. And then I was like, that's a good sign. Like that's a
good thing.
That's a good sign. And then we just made out in the backseat of the car all the way back into their.
So you went from not even being able to make eye contact to nothing but.
She did. She made all of the moves though.
My first date. So here's the thing. We would hang out, but we didn't go on a date until like later.
Okay. But were you hanging out as if it was like a thing, or were you?
Oh yeah, we were doing stuff. Recess part 3. So I showed up, got there. And we're sitting, everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, her friend walks in, and I didn't know. I thought that it was just coincidence that we're just having food, and like her friend just also.
Wait, what kind of friend?
No, it's like a regular friend. But then she sits down at our table, and I'm like, oh okay, like maybe I'm gonna give them a few minutes to.
On your date?
Yeah, on my date. And then she just didn't get up, and so I'm like, oh. You were invited here. It was just so obvious how much.
It was gonna be a threesome?
No.
Oh, that's
Why is that where your mind goes?
I thought that's where that was leading.
Oh, that's not the story.
Literally the complete opposite.